Hey you all, I'm also hi to fellow dressmakers. You're welcome to another interesting tutorial. My name is Confidence. In this video, I'll be showing you how to sew this blouse. In the last video, I shared the pattern drafting and the cutting of this blouse, and I promised to come with the sewing tutorial. So in this particular video, I'll be showing you how to put all of the pieces we cut out from the last video to make this beautiful blouse. And if you like the sound of that, kindly watch this video to the very end and let's get right into it. So from the last video, I said that I traced out the yoke on a skin net just to serve as a support or to stabilize it. You can also decide to use the same color of the lace you're working with, and I have the two sleeves. Which one of them should be Ankara, but I already say that I manage this Ankara. So here, this one is the center front. I have the lining which I pressed in one layer of paper stay on both fashion fabric and the lining, and I have my wording on the fashion fabric for the bustier part. I did the same thing for the side front, and this one is the back part. So here are the flare pieces. We have the longer one and the shorter part of the flare. As you can see it here, I pressed in one layer of paper stay on both fashion fabric and the lining, and now we'll go ahead now and start putting all of these pieces together, and we'll be starting with the yoke. So I'll just put all of this aside, then I'll take the yoke, remove the pins and remove the patterns this way, then I will open up the lace, that's the main yoke, then place the net on it this way, then go ahead, go to my sewing machine and turn it just on the neckline. Okay, now I'll take the center front and the side front, remove the pins, remove the patterns, and then in case you're wondering how did I manage to use just 4 yards to make a pieces skirt and a full peplum blouse, I had joining on almost every part of the blouse, on the center front, on the back, and I think I also did on the side front. So there's joining everywhere because I managed that fabric. I didn't know it was not up to 6 yards until I wanted to use it. So I'm going to take the center front this way, then I'll place the side front on it, match up the under bust notch. Just make sure you match up the under bust notch, and then I'm going to just join it. Then I'll do the same thing for this other side, match up the notch on the under bust, then go ahead and follow the curve and join it. I did the same thing for the lining, and this is what the yoke is looking like after turning it out. You can see that I held it down with a stitch on the sides, that's the down part and the armhole part. So what I'll do now is to go ahead and press this bustier part. I'll be using this bust stand that I made myself. Then I'll go ahead and press open the seams with a hot iron. I'll do the same thing for the lining, and after that, this is what it looks like. Can you see how well cupped this came out? That's the effect of ironing, and you have to do that with the help of a bust stand just so it come out so neat. This is what the inside looks like. And like I said, I did not only iron the fashion fabric, I did the same thing for the lining and the yoke too, and everything is looking all neat and ready to be worked on. Now, the next thing you will be doing now is to take a fresh fabric. That's the plain fabric we said we'll be working with. Okay, you're going to spread it this way, then support the bustier area with your bust arm or anything that will help it curb. Like in case you do not have a dress form, okay, so you're going to do it this way. Just support the bust area, make sure it's cupped this way, then you're going to place the fabric on it this way, and then you pin it down. Okay, this part I did not do it because I did not want to. I honestly do not like that part, but in case you want to go about it, just do it this way. If you want to do it, just go about it this way. You're going to pin it down really well. Okay, then you can decide to turn it to the wrong side this way, just so you make sure that it's really smooth on the inside. So you pin it down very well, then you're going to trace it out. The tracing should just be just um half part. Okay, it's going to be from the middle of the bustier part. Just trace it out that way, so that when you drape on the other part, it's going to cover up that part. But like I said, I did not do that part because I did not like it. Now the next thing I'll be doing now is to take the yoke, then I'm going to match it up this way, pin it down, and pin it all the way on both sides, like pin it all the way to the end on both sides. And like I said on the last video, this fabric is really stretchy. You can see that I even have excess even after trimming it before sewing. So I'm going to pin it very well, and since I like to do mine this way, I will place the lining on it this way too, right side to right side, and I'm going to join it. You can decide to do it separately, but I'm used to doing mine that way. So after doing that, this is what it looks like, and this is what it looks like on the inside. I top stitched on the lining just so I hold the sewing allowance down and it's neat. Okay, now I'll just go ahead and give it a good press it very well, make sure you do not burn your net. And this is what it's looking like. Can you see how neat and beautiful this came out? So I'm going to take the plain fabric we'll be working with, and then we'll be cutting out, we'll be doing the drape part. Okay, so I'm going to fold it this way, making sure I have 3 inches. Like on fold it's 3 inches. You can decide to do 2.5, just 2.5 or 3 inches works, but do not do anything less than 2.5, just so it's neat when you're done. So I'm going to cut it strip by strip, unfold 3 inches, and then I ironed it to have something like this. Now you're going to spread the bustier part this way. You're going to spread it this way you see me doing it. So here I have 3 of these strips, and I ended up using 4 of it. Okay, because the material is by 58 inches. The length of the material is by, yeah, 58, or the length of this strip here is by 58. So what I'm going to do now is to be placing it, making sure it's going to the under bust on this side that you can see mine, and you can see how I flatten the cup area. Is no longer cupped, so go ahead and flatten it the same way you can see mine, and then you arrange this part. So one trick that will make your life easier is, number one, do not do the sweetheart neckline that I did here. I said that in the last video. Okay, it was quite stressful just getting it to be at the midpoint of the sweater neckline, because this fabric is not stretchy and that part is not straight. So if your neckline is round, it will be way easier to just go about it. But if it's sweater neckline, you will have to make sure that this strip is going to the midpoint of the sweater neckline, just the midpoint of the neckline, just the same way you can see mine. So you can see what I'm doing. I arrange, I pin it down, I arrange, I pin it down, and then you are going to take out your lining. Make sure your lining is out of place. You're not pinning this strip down with your lining. Okay, just so you have a very neat work. So I'm going to stitch it down just the same way you can see mine. You can see how I'm struggling with the bustier area because that part is not straight and the fabric is not stretchy. So I'm going to just stitch it, add tiny pleats, or just one dart pleat, just a pleat that is going to serve as a dart, because that part is really curvy. So after stitching it down, this is what it looks like, and you can see what I have on the bustier part. It still came out so well. Then this other part, I will be holding it down this way. Then I will take the next strip, I'll cut off this part, and then after cutting it off, I'll use it to do the other part. Okay, so I'm going to place it. Can you see how I'm doing it from the beginning? I'll pin it down, then I will arrange it just the same way. You can see that it's getting wider, like the distance is getting wider as I go. So from the beginning, it's going to be as you see it, as you see me do mine. Okay, then you're going to arrange it the same way you can see me. Then on the bustier area, you can see that it's about 1 inch or 1.25 space. Okay, so you're going to do the same thing. Arrange it very well. The bustier part is very important, so arrange it neatly this way, flatten the cup area just so you see what you're doing, and make sure that the distance is just about 1 inch or 1.25. It should not be more than that. Okay, I'll pin it down, then go again to my sewing machine and stitch it straight, making sure that the lining too is out of place. I'm not stitching it down with this strip. And after that, this is what it looks like. So just like I did with the first one, I'm going to cut out the strip this way, and you can see what the cup area, like the bustier area, is looking like. I'll take the third one this way. Then I'm going to also place it from the beginning, like from one side this way. I'll pin it down. Then I will arrange it very well, just smoothly. It's going to be the same distance I have from the previous one, like the distance I have from the second one from the first one. That's what I will have from this on this third one from the second one. I'll flatten the curve the same way too, arrange it very well, then stitch it down and do the remaining part. You're going to follow the same process. Do it to have something as smooth and neat like this. Can you see? So what I will be doing now is to go ahead and trim it on this side and on this side too. I'm going to trim off this excess that I have here. Then I'm going to flip the line in this way and turn it on this side. Do the same thing for the back, iron it neatly, and this is what it looks like after that. So after doing this part, I noticed that I don't know how it happened, but this part looks like it shifted. So it's going to be showing the rough work or the part that we joined it. So what I did was I loosened it and took it down a bit and took the other one up, just so it covers up the rough edge or where I joined it. So I turned the back, the neckline, the center back, the side, and now I'll be turning the shoulder with the back just the same way. Okay, so I'm going to flip the line in like this and then go to my sewing machine and join it, do the other side to have something like this. And at this point, you should just fix your sleeve, but you have to work on the sleeve first. So you're going to take one of the sleeve, which is the lace. Okay, the other one should be Ankara, but I manage my fabric. Let me say that again. So you're going to take the fabric, the part of the fabric that is your lace, okay? And then I'll be using this paper to show you how to go about it. You can do this directly on your fabric, but I didn't have enough fabric to do this directly on. So I'm going to show you with this pattern paper. Okay, you're going to fold your pattern this way. Then the length should be 16-17 inches. Okay, I use 14 inches here. You can do 14 to 17 inches actually. So I'm going to read it out this way, mark it out on this end, just a straight line. Then on this upper part I have 1.5, which is 3 inches. Then this part I have about 4 inches. Okay, so the upper part should be lesser than the down part. The upper part you should have um like 2 inches on fold, which is 4 inches. Then the down part you should have 4 to 6 inches. So by the time you open it up, the 4 inches would be 8 inches and the 6 inches would be 12 inches. And when you cut it out, you should have something like this. Okay, can you see? Then you're going to come up here by 4 inches and then you're going to curve it out going to the other part just like this. It's very simple, it's not even hard. You go up 4 inches from one end and then you cut it out this way. So I'm going to trace out what I have here on the fabric, but I'll be folding this fabric just like this. Okay, then I'll place the smaller part this same way going to the folded part of the fabric. Please go ahead and do the same thing. Then I'm going to cut it out just as you can see me adding my sewing allowance. So after cutting this particular one out, you're going to trace it out on the same fabric, the same plain fabric, but I'll be using the lace fabric I use for the sleeve for this. So I'm going to cut it, add interface on the plain fabric, turn it out to have something like this. Can you see? Then I have this shorter part that you'll be using for the bow, which is 5.5 by 5.5. On the edges it's just 5.5 by 5.5. So you're going to fold this other part this way. Then you're going to use your pin to tack it just to hold it in place. You can also decide to stitch it on your machine if you want to. Okay, but you're going to do this part on the midpoint, like on the midpoint of that strip. Then you're also going to hold this part, make it a bow this way, and then you're going to use your pin to tack it to hold it in place. It's not hard. So I'm going to tack it very well, hold it very firm. It's really strong for the kind of needle I used. I used this smaller needle, so it was kind of hard piercing it or the needle penetrating the fabric. But I'll just go ahead and tack it and I'll show you the next thing to do. Now, like I said before, go ahead and hold this part and tack it very well. Then you're going to place this one. Watch how I'm going to place the bow. Can you see how it's facing? So you're going to tack it, right? Then you're going to come to your fabric, go down from the shoulder part of the fabric, like from the sleeve cap, 8 inches. Then you're going to place this one on that part. Make sure it's on the midpoint. Go down 7 to 8 inches, okay, or even 10 inches, depending on how big your arm is, okay. Then you're going to tack this part on it. If I had used same fabric, it was supposed to be like this, right? This part is supposed to be like this, but since I managed this, you can see how I placed mine. Okay, that's just how we go about the bow. Then for the peplum, you're going to take the bigger one, okay. You will be joining it. It's a 720-degree flare, so you're going to join it the same way. So you're placing it right side facing right side, then you're going to join the lining, do the same thing for the shorter part, turn it with the lining to have something like this. Okay, can you see that? I said in the last video that they did 360-degree flare, just a full flare and not 720, but I feel like it's still going to take the same amount of fabric, almost the same amount of fabric, so I had to do 720. Okay, so this is the what we have for the upper bodice. I'm gonna head to close the side with the measurement, fix the sleeve, and now I'm going to trim it off on the waistline because I had stitched the lining and the fashion fabric together. So I'm going to trim the excess this way, then fold it to get the midpoint, and then I'll be placing the midpoint of the peplum to the midpoint of the half length. The joining we have on the peplum will serve as the midpoint, right? So I'm going to pin it down, then I'm going to join it from one center to the center back. Okay, I have just this excess which I will be adding as pleats while I stitch. Okay, I'll do the same thing for the other side, and after every FD, this is what it looks like. I went ahead to fix this zipper. Yeah, I fixed the zipper, and this is the outcome of the blouse. So go ahead and use your cup chain or your trimmings or your plique where you're supposed to use it. I didn't do that part because I didn't have the trimmings to use on that part, but the blouse came out so well. So this will be the end of our tutorial. Do let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Let me know if you learned something new from this tutorial, and I'll see you on my next one. Be good. Bye.